Welcome, guys, once again to another review of Married to Medicine. Today, we're going to be talking about season 12, episode 4 of the season. And we had this episode titled Trouble at Serenity Villa. Now, this episode, mm-mm-mm. This episode was chaotic. Um, it was problematic, but I would not say that I did not enjoy the show. I'm gonna say Married to Medicine, yeah, they are doing an amazing job by allowing or making us as viewers glued to the screen. Like you want to keep on watching it to see how it progresses. So I would say, yeah, kudos to them. Kudos to them. How did you see the episode and how would you rate before we go ahead and talk about the episode? How did you see the episode and how would you rate um the news and this episode?
Well, like you said, I was glued to the TV, popcorn in hand. I thought it was pretty interesting, but then, like why don't you know what I'm saying? I had those kind of moments, and so
Yeah.
on a scale, I would give it like about a 5.4.
Mm, okay. And for me, I will give it about a 6.
Oh, okay.
Although it started slow, but at the end it got better. So I will give it a 6 because I kept on just being like, oof, oh God, oh no. While
Yeah.
watching while watching the episode. So I did enjoy it. And I'm not gonna lie, My to Medicine is one show that I know they've done better compared to most of the Real Housewives shows.
Hmm.
So um they did a good job in this episode. Kudos to all the ladies of Married to Medicine. Kudos to Heavenly, kudos to Toya, kudos to Quad, kudos to Dr. Simone, Dr. Jackie. They have been keeping it going and real since day one. So kudos to all of them for doing an amazing job. Now that we've said that, guys, don't forget to click on the subscription button down below and subscribe. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget to like and comment your total opinion on what we're gonna say on this video. Now we have a question that will stay up all through this episode where we talk about the episode. And let's go ahead and dive into this episode. We're gonna start with um where we started off this episode was from last episode, the dinner, the brandy birthday party. Did you know? I'm not gonna lie. While I was watching this episode last week, do you know that I thought this birthday dinner was for Contenza?
No, actually, it was for
Brandy. That's
Toya's,
what I'm saying.
yeah, Toya's friend.
And that's Brandy. That's what I'm
Right.
saying. That while I watched it last week, I thought it was Contenza's birthday dinner. I never knew it was Brandy. It was this episode. I was shocked. I was like, oh, this is Brandy's birthday event, like birthday dinner. I was extremely shocked because last week in my mind, this was Contenza's birthday dinner. Like she was just
Right.
throwing a dinner for the females. That
Right.
was what I did think. So I was surprised to find out that it was Brandy, but happy birthday to her. Now we had the scene where Simone was talking about the fact that she's tired of her marriage, and she's like, and we've seen this kind of situation before. The moment the season where Cecil and Simone kind of got separated, and now she's kind of talking about it again, and it seems for real, especially watching last week episode, although we didn't talk about it. um Last week episode when she had that argument with her son
Mm-hmm.
about the finances and them putting her in consideration. um do you really think, because I for me thought that okay, she's edging towards the fact that okay, she's really tired, she's tired.
Yeah.
I do understand that okay, if I come from a house that is privileged, um I really would expect my parents to take care of everything for me, but there's still an expectation that at a certain stage, you would not really, because it will get to a stage where you are a pest, and he's a man.
Right.
If you were saying, okay, take care of all my responsibility, at least be cautious of your spending. You get, not the one you're saying, okay, Toya is not Elon Musk's rich,
Right.
right? She's not Donald Trump's rich. She's not who's the owner of this Amazon? What's his name? His name is has left my head right now.
Who's
Toya
that?
is not the owner of Amazon. Um, Toya is not rich, rich. Yes, she's rich, but she's not that rich, rich. Again, so I understood where she's getting to, because me watching that argument last week episode, I thought I'm not one person that is a fan of Simone, of course Simone,
Mhm.
but watching that episode, I kind of felt sad for her, because she was trying to tell them in that conversation. What I was just seeing, that she was trying to tell them, see me,
Right.
see me, see where I am coming from. And they were not seeing that, and now it has gotten to the place where she's not even feeling the marriage. And her being like this, telling, and for her to have come to a level where she told the ladies were shocked. You just see shock in their faces when she said, I'm done. Like, Quad was shocked, Dr. Heavenly was shocked, Dr. Jackie was like, how did we get here?
Mhm.
So do you think that, but she has really gotten to that place for her to have been able to voice it out, or was it like a cry for help, her trying to tell her friends so that they can, like, sometimes we are crying for help so that somebody can give us a good reasoning, like talk to us and give us a reason why we should keep on, or keep pushing. Did you think that was a cry for help, saying that in front of the ladies?
Yeah, I do. And I do understand about being exhausted financially. Even if you got it, you don't want to keep giving it because, in life, we give our children everything. You know, the majority of us parents do. We give our children everything, even when it's taken away from ourselves. You know, we make sure that they don't go without. They're not the oddball in. We make sure that they're dressed nice, they look nice, they're healthy, they're fed. But we also give them tools. Growing up, we give them tools that they can use when they're an adult and they get out here in this real world. Now if you're not using the tools that I gave you and you expect me to keep footing the bill, you know, and you're old enough to take on some of this responsibility, yeah, I can see where it's exhausting. You know what I'm saying? A quick example. I gave my daughter, okay, my daughter went to college, right? One of my daughters went to college. So I was like, okay, you graduate high school, you go to college, I'm gonna give you a car, because I had cars. I'm gonna give you a car, I'm gonna give you the car, the pink slip, the keys, fill your tank up, and you go out there, you're in college, go get a part-time job. You know what I'm saying? To keep the gas money in your car, keep the little change in your pocket, right? This one kid, every time I turned around, the car was getting towed away. Okay, so every time it got towed, that's $500 out of my pocket. She called me one week. She's like, Mom, the car just got towed. I got to get the car back. I'm like, all right, send me the name of the tow place. Let me shoot this money down there to him. Go get the car. The next week, the same thing. I did the same thing. Shot the money down there, told her go get the car. Third week, she did the same thing. 3 weeks in a row. That's $1,500. You know, that fourth time, which was the week after, I told her, I said, baby, get your stuff out the car, kiss the car goodbye, because I'm not paying for it no more. So therefore, I'm gonna say I lost because it was basically my loss. A practically new car that had 40,000 miles, engine tight, transmission type, brand new tires. Oh, and I paid the registration up for 4 years. So somebody got them a nice little ride from her mistakes. But she had to learn because, when you give your kids stuff, you keep giving them stuff and they don't earn it, they don't treat the shit right. You know?
Yeah.
So it was a hard lesson to learn. I took the financial blow from that, you know, but I had enough cushion where I could, you know, but it was to teach her a lesson. So after that, she ended up on the bus. you know, I'm not playing. I give you the tools to help yourself when you become an adult. And if you're not using them, then I can't keep footing the bill. You got to grow up somehow, some way. So I understand, Simone.
Yeah. I did understand her, and I really hope that this will be resolved, um, and it will not get worse. That's just my hope.
Yeah.
Then we also got this. Yeah, you want to say something?
Well, yeah, I wanted to say something about her son spending $60,000 in a year on
Yeah.
a credit card. Like, what? That could have went on property. Are you crazy? You know, like that, and then she has to pay that bill. You know,
Yeah.
so yeah. See, they would have been getting their own line of credit if they would have started them with $500. Fine, learn how to work that $500. Pay it off on time. It could turn into 1,000 and so on and so on. That's how you build your credit. But yeah, I just thought it was ludicrous.
So we also had Dr. Heavenly putting Simone aside rather, and talking about the fact that her son, ever since she yelled at him, I think at this moment Simone was the right person for her to speak with, because Simone also yells at her sons. So I think she would
Yes.
understand where she was coming from.
Yeah.
And the fact that Dr. Heavenly was like just yelling at him that once he packed up and left and she hasn't seen him. Wow. When I heard that he packed up and left and he hasn't seen him, I'm like, it's not like your mom was a bad mom.
No.
Um, it's not that your mom was not there for you.
Hmm.
Um, it's not that your mom didn't give you the best that she could give.
Right.
She did all those things, but just because of one day you made a mistake, which of course we know that in the US, as a black man being arrested, there is like a 80% guarantee and no fear that you might not come back home,
Very true.
or you might not come back alive. Rather, um, so as a mother being scared that, oh, my son was arrested at one certain time, went to jail, came out, and you didn't tell me about it, and I found out about it and I yelled at you. I did not see any reason for me. Maybe because of the way I was brought up. Um, I did not see any reason why you did something wrong, horribly wrong. Not because you were yelled out because your mom wants to yell. Sometimes parents be yelling even when it's not necessary to yell. Or say things to you even when it's not necessary. But this one, you did something. You know. So I did not understand why he should leave the house and not be back.
Oh, I can just imagine what the conversation was like in Heavenly's house. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
She's just now finding out. Everybody else knows, you know, because everybody else knows because it's on the internet. So everybody else knows. She had no clue. She's laying next to her husband every night. He feels like, hey, I can handle this. I don't want to bother her with this because this is something within my reach that I can handle. I understand that part too. But I can just imagine what that conversation was like. She probably blew her lid, and then she does love to scream, you know, and she talks plenty of stuff. So imagine the stuff that she was probably talking to her kid, which it probably made him feel so little. He's just becoming to be a man. So she probably squished that little manhood on down. You know what I'm saying? And he is probably like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to talk back to her. I'm not going to argue with her. You know, I just don't feel comfortable enough to keep being and living here. So he packed his stuff and left. I feel bad for her because, you know, no matter how much your children do stuff that you don't really care for, you know, yelling is not the best way to deal with stuff. Believe me, I've raised plenty of kids, uh, onto raising grandchildren. Now I'm raising great grandchildren, you know. So I can understand, you know, that you can't handle every situation by yelling and screaming. That there has to be some type of thorough communication there where we're all understanding each other, you know? Then once that's
Mhm.
established, once you know we're understanding each other, and if something else jumps off just like it just jumped off the same way, then you can yell. Because we've already had this conversation, But if we've never had this type of dealings and problems, yeah, you got to learn how to do some kind of soft parenting where you're talking and they understand your language, because you can talk and they really don't understand where you're coming from. So
Yeah.
you know get that language together where you guys are communicating, and once they're communicating and they're understanding what you're saying, you know if it jumps off, like I said, if it jumps off like that again, that's the time you can yell, you know, not just first off the first thing you do, first sight. You know what I'm saying? Because that turns any kid, because they feel like you're their safe space. You know what I'm saying? No matter
Yeah.
what they do out in this world, children need a safe space. No matter how old they are, they need a safe place. So once you kind of destroy that, and they feel like, hey, this ain't cool because I don't like the way I'm being talked to. I'm being yelled at. I want to say something back, but then that's going to be disrespectful. Well, I am grown, so maybe I need to just go. You know what I'm saying? And chances
Yeah.
are, if they don't get this resolved, he probably will never darken their door again. Not even for a family meal. So she
Yeah.
has to fix that. She has to fix it. Not Damon.
Well,
She does.
hopefully it gets better. I hope we'll see it in the season, whether they do make up or not.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Now let's head over to this scene where Eugene and Toya were having a walk, and they like talk about work and the fact that Eugene is always out of home, and his job and the rest. How did you feel about Toya, the way she talked about Eugene here and his job? I do understand that married woman would want to be at home while her husband is working somewhere else for 5 days in a week, 6 days in a week. It's not something that nobody wishes on themselves. Um, but do you just feel like she's just complaining or she really means it?
Toya has to look at it this way. You want the good life, somebody has to work and bring in the money. You know what I'm saying? Especially with the type of lifestyle that they're living. That doesn't come free and it doesn't come cheap. So
Yeah.
somebody has to be out there grinding, like every day, you know? So
Mm-hmm.
I I didn't understand. I kind of understand the frustration because she's there with the kids, and it's like she's running the house. She's probably, I doubt if she's doing yard work, but, and washing the cars, that kind of stuff. But, she's maintaining the inside of the house, keeping the bills paid and everything. you know, and that's really not that stressful. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It's not, you know. What's stressful is getting out there beating the pavement on a 9 to 5. That shit is stressful, because you're dealing with everybody in the whole world that happens to be out there, you know. So I didn't understand, you know, why she was so upset, and why she couldn't have chose her words wisely, you know, and I just didn't get it, you know. I
Mm.
just thought it was, I don't care how stressed I am when I'm giving a party. I'm not gonna disrespect my husband. You know what I'm saying? I'm just not, you know,
Yeah.
because he's helping prepare for the party as well as I am. You know what I'm saying? He has his little chores and things to do. I have my little chores and things to do. You know, so why would I scream and fuss and yell and bring attention to I'm not getting my way right now?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
no. It'd have been more like, honey, are you ready to play this game? Okay, let me know when you're ready. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, we also had Quad. Dr. Jackie is her doctor over here, and for her IVF journey. Um, Firstly, I do wish um Quad a success in this IVF journey, and that she literally gets pregnant. I'm kind of shame the enemies. Um, I hope she does that. I hope she does that. Considering the fact that she's elderly, so many things are against her, but I do hope she does it, or she makes it. The IVF works. That's how I'm gonna put it.
Yeah.
The Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I think that every woman who wants a baby should be able to have one. You know, and I hope that she can have a baby because she really wants it. It was just like
Yeah,
when
she
Ki-
does.
when Kenya, that was her name, Kenya, right, from Real Housewives of
Yeah,
Atlanta.
yeah,
Yeah, when she wanted a baby, I was praying and hope she get that baby. You know what I'm saying? And I'm doing the same thing for Quad, praying and hope she gets that baby. And
yeah,
Sweet Tea too. You
yeah.
know, I want Sweet Tea to have her baby too.
We also saw Dr. Mimi and Steve driving in their car, and we got to see the struggles they have almost every day because they have an autistic child, and the fact
Mhm.
that they were crying, crying during their confessionals and being like, if I felt sad for them. Um, well, what did you think about it?
Well, I have a great nephew who's artistic, right? And he's it's crazy because he's nonverbal with his parents, but he talks to his sister, and it's crazy. But every time he gets tired of being in the house, you know, and they take him everywhere. They're everywhere, taking pictures, doing this, doing that. But when he wants to be by himself, he'll unlock the doors and he'll take off running. You know, so
Yeah,
I, I know it has to be hard dealing with the child who is artistic. It has to be hard, So
yeah,
I definitely feel for them, you know. But as they made the adjustments in the car, like, well, hey, she'll sit up here and I'll sit in the back with him. Maybe that's the way they need to ride the whole time. Every time they get in the car, you know, maybe that's how it has to be, until he gets a little older, and you know, I don't know what happened in the back seat, but he was beating up his sister. She was the one who was really crying. But yeah, maybe that's the way they need to ride, to kind of keep the peace in the car during the little family outing. But
Yeah.
I just hope things get better for them.
Like you said, I do hope it gets better for them. I do hope that.
Hmm.
Moving forward, we had this fight because of WhatsApp change. And we had Toya calling it out for being fake, and Dr. Heavenly holding it. How do you see this whole scenario?
About the birthday party.
Yes, like I said, I just want to just hear your opinion because we saw Toya kind of expose this was a fake, and I feel like as friends, I don't think that should have been necessary to type on the group chat. Oh, that's
Yeah,
just it.
Brandy's party. I thought it was nice. I thought it was a nice gesture that her husband did for herself and the ladies. Why it wasn't appreciated by the snooty ones, you know what I'm saying? Because they feel like, $50,000 is like the going price to spend for a birthday party. Like, no. Believe me, if my husband said, "Hey, get together with a couple of your girlfriends and I'm gonna pay for your drinks and your meal," we could get all dressed up and have a ladies' night. We could be cute and stuff and giggle and laugh and talk. That's a wonderful night, you know, because there's no cleanup after that. You ain't gotta prepare no food. You don't have to clean up after everybody's gone. That's a perfect night, you know. And why the other ladies didn't seem to appreciate it, then maybe next year they ought to all chip in and give Brandy the type of birthday they feel that she should have.
Yeah. I I do not like the for me I do not like the shaming she did on the WhatsApp group. That was
Mhm.
unnecessary. And we also saw her here telling Eugene about it. I feel like um she found the trouble first. And sometimes and almost every time when you find trouble, your karma will come. So I hope I hope it gets better in the household. Now we then come over to talk about the party, the main event, main course of everything. Now everybody be coming in, they are trying to play a game. Toya then, arrange the stuff for the game, told the men to join in, and the men were already gone because the men did not want to play the game right, and they were like making a funny thing that they will write the doctor's note to avoid them doing that. And that was where everything went loose. Everything went loose because I do not understand why Toya was talking in such a demeaning place or demeaning way to Dr. Eugene. I did not like that. I felt so bad. Uh, I felt so bad. It's not fair on her. But anyways, how did you see this whole party and the flame up of Toya?
I, I understand Toya was stressed. Brand new house, first party, she's showing the ladies around, they're digging her shoe room, you know. I understand. It's a lot of stress to have a party because you want everything to be right, you want everything to be perfect, you know. But like I said, you know, there's no way to talk to your husband and especially not in front of other women, okay, and then other men, because you're like snatching his manhood. You're snatching his man card and you're putting it in your purse, you know, and you can imagine how his associates and his friends are looking at him like, dang, man, you gonna really take that shit? You know what I'm saying? And then the women are looking like, ooh, trouble in the White House. Hmm. He'll be a free agent soon. Maybe I could hook him up with my friend. That's how some women look at it. You know what I'm saying? Or hook up with them themselves. You know. But I just thought it was in poor taste, poor judgment, wrong wording. You know, wrong energy. You know, um, you can catch more flies with honey than you can with vinegar.
Yeah.
You got to use your softness, your and I understand there's a time, when a woman is alone, that she has to bring out the masculinity in herself in order to protect herself, and
Mm.
and the home. I understand that. But when you're in the presence of your king, I'm not saying bow down, but I'm just saying we got something they don't have, which is that soft place, that place that's so soft they call home. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes you have
Mm.
to use it, you know? When a man comes home from working hard, do you think they want somebody to be like, "Rrr, rrr, 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 rrr," as soon as they walk through the door? No. They want somebody to be, "Hey, babe, how you doing? How was your day? Come here, give me a hug. I miss you. Here, sit down. I got the
Yeah.
food ready. You know what I'm saying? Here's the remote." You know, they want to be taken care of. Because the world out there ain't gonna take care of them. So I just think she used the wrong approach, totally wrong.
Exactly.
you know
And the
and
fact that
totally
it is in the fact
what
that it was in front of friends, I didn't find that funny.
yeah, and it's totally embarrassing, because Eugene wanted to get upset, but he chose not to. He said, well, let me go and apologize. She wasn't ready for it, because she's still just furious inside. Instead of saying, okay, babe, I'm sorry too, you know forget it. We'll play that game later. Maybe we just need to let everybody just chill. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
all the negativity we just threw into what she just threw into the party. You know what I'm saying? But I think she needs to soften up. She's too pretty to to be acting like that. I don't get it. I don't get it. I just hope that her marriage will survive her attitude. Because I don't care how long you've been married. You can't keep talking to no man like that. Not no real
Mm-hmm.
man. No matter how much he loves you, he ain't gonna. And then you're calling him out in front of everybody. He's not gonna keep taking that shit.
Yeah. And the ladies were shocked. I said everybody was in shock. I was shocked. Watching Toya go off like that at Eugene. I was really shocked and very disappointed, highly disappointed. The way she held her drink. I don't know. I'm gonna give her an excuse that she was high.
Not high.
All right.
Well, I think she
Um,
was a little tipsy.
yeah. Then she walked off from there and went into the house, and they still had another fight because I thought, okay, maybe because he came quietly, nobody to stop them, it was gonna be easy. No. They still argued and shouted and did whatever they did before he walked out. For me, I'm not saying that Eugene was right um with his actions. I would just say that sometimes, I not sometimes, if what was whatever she said or doing, I'm trying to like, I'm sure of wasn't how to bring it, but in long and short, she shouldn't have done that in front of the friends.
No, and I want to say something about the little comments that Dr. Mimi and Dr. Heavenly were making, the little
Mhm.
side talk. That shit wasn't cool at all. Like, look, if you see a couple arguing, stay the hell up out of it. Don't sidebar,
Mm.
no talk. You know what I'm saying? Keep your mouth shut
Yeah.
and you either listen or don't listen, but keep your mouth shut. Don't put your 2 cents in this shit because see, then I'm gonna have a problem with you. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Saying that, ooh, dog, y'all don't get divorced. Ooh, don't talk to him like that. You shouldn't have. Like, shut the hell up. And if we're going through the motions, let us go through the motions. We don't need you to say shit because you just making it worse. So I didn't like that when they were doing that.
Mm.
I didn't see the reasoning for it. Because that's something they could have told her like later on, like, girl, maybe you shouldn't talk to him like that in front of people. You see what I'm saying? That's what a homie would do, not be trying to blast you out and make him get upset from the shit you're saying, and then you're getting even more riled up from the shit that they're saying. You know what I'm saying? So I just thought that was in bad taste.
Yeah. Now she comes back. The one part I didn't like was that after she walked off from this conversation, I went to her dressing room. We had Contessa, we have Quad, we have the other ladies there trying to talk her down from her anger and everything. But she was like, okay, I've heard. Just for her to go outside and went for to Toya 2.0. She upgraded and she went for every single wedding. Um, Now let's talk about that exchange. Her coming and accusing everybody of not supporting her, accusing others of trying to, push for a fight between her and her husband. How did you feel that during the episode?
Yeah, like I said, you're my friends. You see me and my husband having a disagreement and it happens to be kind of loudly. I don't need you making faces, making comments, or telling me what I should or shouldn't do in the midst of me doing something. You know what I'm saying? My marriage, my house, my husband. Because when you get into your shit with your husband, oh, my lips are zipped, and we can discuss it maybe a week or two when things calm down, you know, and I'll tell you my opinion, but and while you're in the midst of it, nah, mm-mm. Ain't no way. I don't have a dog in that fight, so why would I get in it?
Yeah. Um. Now, after her talking all she wanted to talk to the ladies, we saw Dr. Mimi and her husband leaving the party. We saw Toya, sorry, not Toya, Dr. Heavenly also leaving the party, and she sat down with these ladies. And did you feel that any of these ladies, because this is where we're like, well, we're coming to a wrap for the review. Do you feel like any of this lady here told her the real truth? Because for me, I feel like the added anger that sorry, not Eugene, the added anger Toya had was because she embarrassed herself, the way she was shouting on her husband. in front of everybody. Not only the cast and crew, because we saw other friends at the background, right?
Right.
Um, so this is not just a cast and crew member viewing, like, oh, this happened live my very before eyes. No, there were other friends there. Did you feel like any of these ladies were telling her the truth? Because for me, I felt like she was deflecting. I felt like she was trying to pass it off to other people, to pass the blame rather to other people. Meanwhile, she was to blame. Nobody forced her to say what she wanted to say. Nobody forced her to open her mouth.
Yeah, well, at that time when they were at the table, you know, Toya had basically already kind of blew up at everybody, you know. So that wasn't the right time, like Dr. Damon said when he was outside, and they said, "Hey, maybe you guys should go back in and kind of, you know, see about this and smooth this over." He said, "Hey, out of respect, I feel that it's best for us to leave and not, you know, light the flames." You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So I, at that point, if I was sitting at that table, yeah, I'm not. I already see you upset. Then why am I gonna give my 2 cents? You know, and you already blasted the other women for giving their 2 cents. Why am I gonna give you my 2 cents when you're in that type of emotion? Cause see, see, I'm not the type of person you can blow up on, you know, because I'll turn it all out. So I would have just sat there and just been quiet, you know, and try to be as supportive as I could without really saying my opinion, you know, and then I'm going to give you my opinion when it's just me and you, not in a group setting. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't need nobody chiming in with me so it can look like we're against you and your actions. You know what I'm saying? So for them to have sit there and they really wasn't saying anything was probably the best thing to do, because you know Toya is the type of person that say, "Hey, you ain't got to go home, but you got to get the hell up out of here." You know, she'll put you out. Shit. So they did the best thing. Yeah, I think she definitely did the best thing. You know, let her just go ahead and get it all out. You know, just be a listening ear at that point.
Yeah. Um, do you think with everything that happened with Toya shouting on the ladies and this thing, because at the end of the day, words were thrown out, right? Words that would not leave those ladies' mind anytime soon. Do you
Right.
think this is going to cause a great divide or a great problem? Because you could see that Toya was trying to do something here because she was trying to be like, oh, very soon she's going to be coming for you and your husband Brandy. Very soon she's going to be coming for you to the other new lady. Do you think this is going to cause a very big issue and a very big divide from the
I,
club?
I don't think it's going to cause a divide. I mean, it's kind of true what she was saying. You know, Heavenly has came for everybody. You know, so I I believe that it wouldn't cause a divide, but it's just going to make them a little bit more cautious about, you know, what they let Heavenly in on as far as personal things in their life, because you know Heavenly always got something sharp to say, you know, so it's just a pre-warning, you
Mm.
know. But me myself, I would have did that pre-warning in front of Heavenly, so it can't go back. Well, hey, Toya said this, that, and the other about you. No, you were there when I said it. You know what I'm saying? So if you got something to say, this is the time to say it, you know.
Okay, so you think it's not gonna cause anything in the, you know, pushing forward?
Yeah, pushing forward, I don't see where it should cause any type of division,
Oh,
maybe more cautiousness towards
okay.
heavenly.
Um,
Why do you think it might
but do you
cause the
think?
divide?
I don't really think it's gonna cause a divide because I don't think Eugene and Toya is very smart. I don't think they'll bring out their marriage issue or their marital issues to the forefront for everybody to dissect and judge. Um, but we also know that Toya has a bad mouth. So I don't know, but I don't see it happening. Um,
No, but
but truthfully,
what I do
yeah,
see is Eugene is kind of getting tired of that. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? I see him kind of getting frustrated, and like, he seems like he's always the person who, well, I'm gonna be the first to apologize. I'm gonna be the first to give in. Toya likes it this way, and I'm trying to keep Toya happy. I'm trying to keep a smile on her face. I'm trying to keep her up on things. I'm trying to make sure she has the lifestyle that she wants. You see what I'm saying? But he looks like he's getting a little tired, you know.
oh,
So I hope that this doesn't put a strain on their marriage. She's
yeah.
gonna have to do a whole 180,
Um,
turn it around.
I do hope, I do hope. But one thing I'm not gonna tolerate is Toya trying to blame the other women for her own mess.
Hmm.
That part I do not. Because we see her got pissed off by the way that Heavenly and Dr. Mimi reacts. Me, I'm not gonna lie, if I was there and I saw what I saw, life and direct, uh, I too would have been shocked and started talking
Mm.
because nothing was right from the beginning to the end with Toya. So I'm not gonna tolerate for her to literally pour all her, pissed offness, annoyanceness, tiredness, and everything to pour it on the other ladies and be like, "Oh, yeah, the ones that caused this." No,
No, they didn't cause it, you know.
that's what she was trying to insinuate now, being like, "Oh, you guys were egging us on, you guys were laughing." Like she was trying to say that they were the one that was kind of adding more fuel to the fire already burning
Right.
between her and Eugene.
Nah, I don't think they added more fuel because she was the whole firing squad. She was the inferno. You know what I'm saying? They
Oh,
just lit tiny little fires. You know what I'm saying? Which can be
mhm.
ignored, you know, but still, as a guest in my house, I don't need you chiming in on shit like this, you know. But no, they're not the cause of the big explosion. She was already on fire, especially with that. Could you try to be the man of the house and lead your friends into this game? Try to be the man of the house. He is the man of the house. He pays the damn bills. You know? I mean, not unless you the man now, Toya. Like what the fuck? Oops, sorry.
Mhm.
But yeah, oh, she got a mess to clean up there.
Yeah. Hopefully, truthfully, it gets resolved and it doesn't go further than this because, constant fights, constant quarrel will make the other partner tired. So hopefully they will become level-headed and have a conversation and it continues in that way in the future.
Mhm.
That's just my takeaway from the episode. Well, we've come to the end of the review for season 12, episode 4 of Married to Medicine. Don't forget to like, comment, put an opinion on the video down below. We'll see you guys same time next week. Have a good day. Bye.
Bye.